Hey guys, this is Paul Beloyd with Indie Pop Productions, pop culture from an independent point of view. It has been a while since I've made a video. I've had a few people asking about it. It's not that I don't want to make these videos, but I just really haven't had the time lately. I do have some more projects coming up in the near future, so there should be projects going on pretty steady for at least the next few months. Both with what I'm doing today, some discussion that I'm going to have that's going to take several episodes about a recent trip that I had to Disney World, and also with a little more of a polished project that I'm working on that's going to come up soon. That's less of just me staring at the camera talking about something I recently purchased or experienced. But what I'm doing today is just a mail call. It's just a really quick video of me opening up a few Kickstarter packages that I have received recently and talking about that experience and what I expect from those projects. I did one of these fairly recently. There was something wrong with the video. I wasn't able to put it out. That was fine. I really wasn't in love with it anyway, but there was one thing that I wish I had been able to do in that video that I regretted not having that video for, and that is simply this. One of those projects was a comic book called The Road to Oz by Amin Amat. This is one I found on Kickstarter. This is the first issue. I wanted to have it out at that time. I wish I had been able to do that because he was funding the second issue at that time. Now, the Kickstarter project for that did finish. He didn't need my help, but he did manage to get that funded, and I believe actually raised more money than he did for the first issue. So it's good to see that project growing, but I do want you guys to keep an eye out for this. This is a fun project, alternate take on Oz. It takes place after The Wizard of Oz, where the Flying Monkeys basically have started a group to go to Earth and I guess to get revenge on Dorothy. And so the Scarecrow finds out about it. He's the leader of Oz at this point, and he has to chase after them. It's got a really cool art style. The way the Scarecrow is portrayed looks very much like it's right out of a Western. Really enjoyed the book. Read this, looking forward to the second one. Not really sure where it's going. He says it's more of a dark fantasy. The first issue was really just setting things up. But I will say I thoroughly enjoyed the art. Was very happy to have backed it. Very happy to back the second one. Looking forward to that. There wasn't a lot of downtime between issue one's Kickstarter and issue 2's Kickstarter. So hopefully that means issue 3 will come out fairly soon. So be on the lookout for this. Also look and see. I'm sure you can find it in digital storefronts or something like that. But Road to Oz, Amin Amat. I highly suggest it. Really a good, fun project. But now to a couple of projects that I've done a little more recently that I've funded through Kickstarter that I've helped fund. Not like it was my money that got them to the finish line. But we're going to open up a couple packages here. I'm pretty sure I already know what these are. I do a lot of Kickstarters, so sometimes I do get a surprise. I think something's going to be in a box and it's actually something different. But we're about to find out what's in these, and I don't expect surprises today. So we will see. Yeah. This one. This is the Cobalt Crisis, or Countdown to the Cobalt Crisis. I got two different versions of it. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. It's Captain Lancet. He is basically meant to be a golden age comic book character. So back, 30s, 40s, right when American comic books, superhero comic books were blown up. A lot of the stuff in that time period has entered the public domain. The first series, which I believe it was 5 issues long, I supported all those. It was one of the best creator-owned independent Kickstarter projects I have backed. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The art is very much from that time period, but with a modern quality to it. Storytelling is great. I highly suggest looking those up. But this one is a lot of fun. Countdown to Cobalt Crisis is supposed to be like almost like a version of Crisis on Infinite Earths or any of those, but set in that 1940s style time period with a bunch of classic looking characters that are inspired by characters of that time period. This first issue, the Countdown, was more the short story setting up some of those characters and some of those alternate realities that are going to come together in the actual Cobalt Crisis, which will come out soon. But again, Captain Lancet, read his stories. Highly suggest looking those up. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it, looking forward to what comes out next. But be on the lookout for the new Kickstarter project coming up very soon. Again, Captain Lancet, Cobalt Crisis will be the big storyline that he has coming up very soon. Highly suggest that one. Then, this is the big one. I actually considered doing this one on a video all itself, but if this is what I think it is, and I'm pretty sure it is. But it's not something that I could have told a story like I did, you know, Power Rangers and the G.I. Joe video. I was able to tell more of a personal story because of how much they were attached to my personal childhood. Even though I was into independent comic books when this was popular, in the first time around, it's been popular pretty steadily for quite a while now. I never got into it. So I'm actually, as these come out, and they're coming out 2 volumes at a time in these deluxe editions, I'm reading for the first time, and that is Bone by Jeff Smith. A lot of people that are reading comics will already know that, but Bone is a comic that looks like a classic cartoon, like Sunday morning cartoons, mixed with fantasy, and you start reading it and you're like, oh, it's jokes, oh, it's funny, it's these cute little characters in these weird situations, and then the further you get into it, you realize, oh, this is actually epic fantasy. It starts off funny and still has the funny as it goes through. I mean, he's good at jokes and good at funny, but there's more going on. Definitely looking forward to reading the rest of it. I was tempted to go find cheaper versions and read them all at once because I was hooked on the story after the 2 volumes that were presented in the one deluxe edition single volume. But I said, you know, I'm going to read these as they come along because I'm reading this. A lot of people will know these, especially if you read them as young readers. They redid them. I believe Scholastic redid them for young readers several years ago and added color because these were traditionally black and white. I do like the color editions, but this is following the original intent, which was a black and white storyline. My low attention span and the fact that I have an eye issue makes it hard to read off of white sheets of paper. Did make me tempted to go find color versions, but I really did enjoy it. It was worth the extra effort, having a lot of fun reading those. I do highly suggest it, but let's go ahead and check out what all's in this box. This is a map. There is a map that they find in the very first issue that leads them on their adventure, the Bone Cousins, the 3 Bone Cousins. This is a little reproduction of that, like kind of postcard sized. This looks like a temporary tattoo. Then we've got, very nice, a few prints. Take these out because these are together in a plastic sheet. I don't want to damage the print, so take these out very carefully. Start on these. This is color, and these do look very nice. Move this very slow because they feel like fairly thin paper, and I do not want to damage anything here. That is Phone Bone, your main character, and one of what they call the rat creatures. These are a very thin material, very poster material, not like a regular print. They are more like small posters. Another shot of Phone Bone exploring his environment. Phone Bone with a few of the other main characters, the Red Dragon, Thorn, and the Grandma Rose. Very fun characters. They're characters that you would normally, they feel like when you meet them that they belong in something funny, but then you put them together and you do get this epic fantasy. Then we've got Phony Bone, Bonicious Bone, or something like that, how you say it. He's how the story gets started. He's one of the Phone Cousins, the Bone Cousins, but he is not as sweet and not as good as Phone Bone as your main character. But there's some sort of, he is kind of the catalyst for what happens. Our main characters again, minus Smiley Bone. We're short of Bone Cousin here. I don't see him in any of the prints, unfortunately. He's a smaller part, but he's fun. And then just Bone looking lost. Very good art. That gives you an idea of what Jeff Smith's art style is like. If you aren't already familiar with his art, a lot of people that are already in the comics, especially independent comic books, will already know and be familiar with this. And even, again, largely due to those reprints in color by Scholastic years ago, a lot of people are very familiar with these projects already, so this isn't too small of a deal. But this is the slipcase edition. Very nice, very high quality. Now, art is great. Beautiful on all sides. I'm going to be very happy to have this on a bookcase. Open this up. Yeah, this is a treatment that a true classic independent comic deserves. Again, I'll just really quickly open it up so you can see, you know, the classic black and white art as it is intended, especially if you're one of the ones that only saw this in this classic color editions. Again, I do have my eye problems, makes it hard to see, but it is beautifully drawn art, and the storytelling is excellent. I do suggest this, even if you don't go back the rest of these and or find the editions that I'm sure that will be in comic book shops eventually. I do suggest a storyline. I've loved those first two, and I look forward to reading the rest of the volumes as they go. I've always wanted to get into these. I had seen the various versions around. Always been a big supporter of independent comic artists and comic creators and writers. And Jeff Smith is one I've always wanted to get into, and respecting his art. So definitely happy to have backed this. This is one of the big wins out of this. But all three of these projects, artists and creators, both new and upcoming, as well as Jeff Smith, who's been around for a while. Artists that I am proud to have supported on these, and I do highly suggest you look them up if you haven't had a chance yet, and check all of them out. All winners from this one. Definitely give them a chance. Look if you get a chance. And again, I will be back soon. Got that Disney vacation to talk about. That's probably going to take a good 10 to 20 minute episodes. I don't think any of them will hit 20, but I've got a lot of thoughts on Disney World, and it's kind of got me interested in doing other Disney-based videos, so we'll see where that goes. Let me know what you think about these, if you've heard of any of these, especially Jeff Smith, since he is the one most famous out of all these with Bone, and if you have any thoughts on me kind of focusing on Disney for a little while. There'll be other things thrown in. I do have more Kickstarter things that are heading my way, mostly comics, but a few other things. And hopefully, eventually, I'll be able to get my hands on a Switch 2, which has been a little hard for me around here. It came out while I was on Disney, so I didn't pre-order it, A, because I wouldn't be there to get it, and B, because I was at Disney, and that is a very expensive trip, and I definitely don't regret that. But I have been trying to get my hands on one for the past few weeks and not having a lot of luck. So you will eventually, hopefully, see a video of me unboxing a Switch 2 and giving you my opinion on that. All right, thanks you guys. I'll see y'all soon. And hopefully it won't be as long this time.